My Shoes. I am your host Keely, and today's special guest is the one and only Tommy Hench. So Tommy, today we are walking a mile in your shoes. I don't know anything about you, so where can we start? Tell me all about you.
Where can we start? Well, about me. Just basically a kid from a council estate, and basically grew up in a difficult area. And basically never became a product of my environment, and basically outgrew everyone around my area.
I like that. I like you already. Carry on.
But yeah, basically always looked up to fighters, boxers, and stuff like that. So I got into boxing quite early.
Okay.
What got me into it was a police officer came around to my house one day. I was having a tantrum. I was a bad kid. And
was you?
Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, but you know what they're saying? If you're bad when you're young, you tend to get better.
Yeah.
And if you're really good when you're young, you tend to turn bad because
you self-destruct.
Yeah. It's one or the other. But I destroyed my bedroom door, and the police officer come in and he goes, "I'm a fully grown man, and I couldn't do that." He says, "Why don't you go into boxing, son?" And I was like,
"Good
idea." Yeah. So went down the gym. Started. I was probably about 15 when I first went in there. And I was like, doing the shadow boxing and feeling like a right idiot. Because everyone's looking at you and, and obviously my dad weren't really much there. So you never really get taught how to think or how. So I'm going into an environment as a kid and trying to learn to do something just from the advice of a police officer. And then, I just started shadow boxing in the corner.
So you didn't have a trainer or anything? You literally just went on yourself and teaching yourself?
Yeah. That's why my style was quite really unorthodox, like swinging, and also I can box, but I also tend to get emotional and fight emotionally as well.
Do you?
Yeah. Which is.
I think when it comes to like a sport like boxing, you have to have heart in it. You have to fight with your heart and stuff, and you have to be emotional because then you perform better, don't you? Because you're fighting for a cause then, because you're attached to it. It's like an emotional attachment to it. Carry on, Sam.
Yes, I don't know. I was in that gym for a while, and then, but obviously with boxing you need a lot of discipline, and that's something that I never had. Ended up falling out with one of the trainers. Putting it lightly, really, I strangled him.
What do you mean? Why did you strangle him?
Because basically what I used to do, because I was quite strong in it. So I'm quite strong, instead of hit the bag.
And how old was you, by the way? 15?
Yeah, probably about 15.
That is hilarious. Carry on.
And you probably remember me if he's looking at if he does watch this. His name's Andrew. This guy was named Andrew, and he was like the money grabber of the gym. He'd be like, "Well, you got your money if you come in," and he would harass everybody for their money and that. And there was a guy called Dean. I can't remember. Big guy, and he was like really nice to me. Do you know what I mean? He was like, he could see that I was like a bit, so he kind of like took me on the bags, and he was trying to help me out, and he was like, "You're really strong. So like, he'd give me a lot of courage because that was my only strength, really, being strong. And then there was a guy in there who went professional, and he was quite looked after in the gym, and he when I used to spar people, if I put my hands down and I started to do like my Prince Nassim sort of, I would start to get success, but they would never allow that. Do you get what I mean? They'd always suppress that sort of style.
Really?
So when I put my hands down with this kid, he was like, he took his gloves off and says, "Do you want to fight me? And I was like, because he knew he was about to take some licks, you know what I mean? Because I was pretty, because everyone's used to this, you know what I mean? When I do that, they don't know what they're doing. So he goes, "Do you want to fight me?" And I thought, "What do you mean, do I want to fight you?" So he took his gloves off. So I took my gloves off. Everyone jumps in the ring. No, break it up. And then that fucking Andrew was like, "You better calm down because he will fucking kill you." And he come up in my face and said that. And I'm already in a rage, you get me? Because I'm about to fight him across the ring. So I just grabbed him by his throat to shut him up, do you know what I mean? And I just grabbed him in.
Did he try and fight back or anything?
They just kicked me out of the gym. There's a guy called Dennis and that, and he loved me. Dennis is like a nutter, like he was like a tuck tight in, and he was like technical, and he was just an hard geezer.
I love
but
that.
The other guy was like a money grabber, the other trainer, and obviously Dean was like kind of nice to the strays. So I was one of the strays, and but yeah, he said you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? You've lost, but. For him to go to a kid who's in a rage and tell him that you better fucking calm down because the kid's going to kill you. I just reacted to him. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I was never, even though I was a bad kid, I was quite defensive. Yeah. So if you done something to me, would I be doing something to you? So I never was like going out my way to start, and people will go on my way to do something. So that's what happened there.
How old was the other kid that you was going to fight before? He
was a bit older. Yeah, he's a few years older, and he was a good fighter. And he did go on to do. He won about 10-0. He got a few wins as a professional, but he never really made it massively. But he was he was much better than me, and he was well schooled, and he was older, and he was But
he was a little bad boy like you though.
He wasn't now. Like, I was just like a kid off the street ready to go, But then, kicked out of that gym, so I stopped boxing. Got into whatever I was doing, going to work, become a security guard. And then, obviously, about 25, I decided, I'm going to give it a go again. So I got back into boxing about 25. Started training up with John Pegg in 5 Ways Gym.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I was training. But, yeah, again, the same sort of process happened. I was just a stray. No one really gave it any attention or try to groom me or anything like that. And then Sam Egginson came in.
Okay. I know that name.
Yeah,
Is he like a I'm not saying anything in case I get it wrong.
He's a good boxer.
Oh, he's a boxer.
And he beat Paul Malignaggi, and he's one of the best from Brum.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I know. For some weird reason, I thought he was like a cage fighter or something, but no, I know who he is.
Yeah. You know who he is, yeah?
I know who he is now, yeah.
And so he came into the gym, and a lot of attention was behind him, and a lot of the other fighters did get neglected through that. But there was Terry Carruthers, and there was another trainer there, and I just jumped in the ring and started sparring all these guys. And these are guys, Terry was a professional at the time.
Yeah.
Max Maxar was a professional at the time. These were some of their best fighters, and I was just sparring them when John went in the gym.
Yeah. And
I was doing pretty well, but I think one time Terry hit me in the body, took me down. And I got straight back up and I went to carry on fighting. And Terry took his gloves off because he thought it was over. And then there was another trainer, I forgot, he's an old fella. He's well loved. And he went, "You're going to be a champion one day, son." Because most people would get knocked down.
Stay down.
Yeah. I just got up, I was like, "Come on then." Come on then, you know what I mean?
Can't keep me down.
And Terry don't remember this. So I spoke to him recently and I tried to remind him about it. He goes, "No, I don't remember that." I goes, "Yeah, man."
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Yeah. And then... so I got back into it for about 25, started doing it for a few years. I started sparring with the likes of Craig Cunningham and a few other good lads used to come in and out of the gym. And then, even Shaq and Pitters.
Yeah, I know Shaq. I've met Shaq. Yeah. He's really nice,
I was one of his first spars and he come in the ring. Yeah. And I took advantage of him.
Sorry.
Shaq's got I've got memories of Shaq in the corner going, and I'm there going, and Shaq was like, you know what I mean? I got him good, man. And now Shaq's like, "You better come." He wants to be in that ring. Yeah, he wants it.
He's got better now. He wants to come back.
Yeah. But when I get in the ring, he's gonna shivers go over his body. All the memories are gonna come back, and I'm just gonna, Shaq, you know what? You're getting it again, son. When I get down the gym again, all them memories are gonna come back, mate. You know what I mean? You in that corner. So Shaq was like, "Yeah." I used to put it on him, and I remember Suggy was like, he goes, "Yeah, that's what he needs. That's what he needs," because he needed someone aggressive, somebody to put it on him and not tap around, because I was quite good.
Yeah, challenge him. You needed to be challenged.
So Shaq's gone on to excel into massively in the professional game, and it's good to see. It's really happy for him. But I want to get back fit and get back in the gym with him again, and we'll have another and see what he can do nowadays. You know what I mean? It'd be interesting. But you always believe in yourself, no matter what the circumstance.
100%. You've got to believe in yourself, no matter what the circumstance, because otherwise, who is?
No one's gonna lift the weight for you.
What made you get back into boxing at the age of 25? So what happened between them years?
I think I've always watched boxing. My dad got me into boxing watching it on the TV. Then in the place I was in, it's just I love it. I just absolutely love to fight. I love confrontation. I just love it. Yeah. So it's just a noble sport. It teaches you a lot of discipline. And what got me back into 25, I couldn't put a nail on it. I just remember I used to walk from my area it used to take me about an hour walk to 5 Ways. I used to just walk there every day and just get my head punched in by all the professionals and Craig Cunningham mainly, because he was very counter puncher and very clever, and I was just like crazy. And he used to just Anthony Ogogo. Did you see him fight Anthony Ogogo, the Olympian? I know what Anthony Ogogo went through. Let's just put it that way. Anthony Ogogo got his head punched in over and over and over, and all I could feel like, I know how you feel.
You should have sent him a DM. I got you, man.
So Anthony Ogogo, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been funny. I know, I could think it, bro. I know what he went through, man. I've been through what he's been through a million times. But it made me pretty decent. Now I can have it with any level, because I've been but I fought I fought a guy called Scott Moonan about 25 when I first got back into it again, and I started, and I was on about a 7 knockout win streak. I'd knocked out all my opponents in the first round. And I was just like, I thought I was invincible.
Yeah.
So I fought Scott, and I just started walking towards him, my hands down. I thought, oh, as soon as I land a punch, I'm going to get him. And he was hitting me, and I was going, oh yeah, whatever. Like and I kept going like this, and I was like, oh yeah, is that all you got? Like as he's hitting me, he hit me 27 times within 30 seconds.
No way.
I counted it, but I looked back, he hit me 27 times, and I went down eventually.
Did you?
And I missed a punch, and he hit me. I went over my heels, and I got straight back up, and I thought, oh my god, I thought I'm going to kill him. Like, and the referee's gone, you all right? I goes, yeah, I'm all right, mate. And he's gone, and what you doing? So he's ended the fight, and that for me was like, he took away everything from me, because in my head it was going to be the best comeback ever. I got I was fully ready to go. But sometimes referees, they must have saw me going in there and thought this is an atrocity, because he was like a good referee. So he must have knew a lot about boxing at the time and saw me and just thought, this kid, I need to save this kid out of it and get him out of there. But I definitely think he made the wrong choice. But everyone, I look like a complete cunt on there. No. So this is one of that experience there led me to kind of sympathise with Jim from Shard End, because he looked like an absolute cunt from what happened outside outside that pub that time. And when I watched it, I didn't jump to conclusions like most people do.
Tell me about, because I don't know Jim from Shard End's story. Tell me what happened outside the pub.
Outside the Hunter's Moon, there was a guy who was really a bully to everybody, right? And Ginge is a good lad, and he went to stick up for somebody for some unknown reason, which I think is best for him to say what it was. And the guy, took him outside and wouldn't back down. And Ginge was trying to say to him, "Listen, you don't come around here fucking trying to terrorise people around here, because he's gonna have it." And then, but he looked like an absolute cunt on the video. Looked like he's beating up an old man or whatever. Oh. And everybody hated him, and he became like a meme, and he became like one of the most hated people in Brum. Do you know what I mean? Did you not know that?
God, no, I didn't know that. See, but this is why I've started this show now, because I literally secluded myself from the whole world for so long, so I didn't have social media. I didn't go out or anything. So I'm only just coming back out into the world now. So that's why I'm doing this, because all these stories are new to me. Yeah. So I didn't know, but I know he's been on the show. Haven't got around to watching his thing now. No, but we follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah, it's a good story that he's got, and I didn't jump to conclusions anyway, and I think a lot of people did, and. He then made a video saying that he wants any boxer to fight, and at the time, I should go back a bit really before.
Is he a boxer?
No, he's not. He's just a normal lad off the street. He's never really had any boxing training, never had any boxing fights. I think he had one or two little dust ups, but nothing no substantial training, no sort of background whatsoever. Whereas people like myself have been in the amateurs, been in the white collar scene for a while, and had a lot of experience of professionals and been around the block. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas him, nowhere near that, but. Fair play to him. He's an hard guy, and he's not afraid to fight anyone. So I've got a lot of respect for him. But before that, though, I wanted them to get into a point where things happen in the boxing. I come out of it, and then
you related back to Jin. That's what you said. You related to him from what happened outside the pub. So how was that relatable for you?
Because everyone saw me getting knocked over by Scott, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're arrogant. You're fully." So I was arrogant. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And walking through, a guy hitting me in the face with my hands down, going, "Oh, is that it?" Do you know what I mean? It was just, I did believe in myself to an unmeasurable amount.
Fair play.
You know what I mean? I just had an undeniable faith that I was going to win this fight with ease. And he was like really good, well-schooled fighter, and it was I'd only knocked over my first 7 fighters, just swinging wild, and come against someone with a bit of class and a bit about them, and he taught me a great lesson. It made me definitely a better person. But I just think that experience kind of give me the experience and the knowledge that on social media or the internet you can have an image, or you can have you can look a certain way, and everyone can get the complete running of the stick of where you come from, what 100%. It is, and so I never jumped to a conclusion.
100%. Do you feel like it taught you humility as well, to be more humble, because you said that you was arrogant and stuff before?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
I think that's everybody needs to go through something that humbles them. So actually, like, that was obviously like divine protection for you, because who knows what would have happened if you would have won that fight and come back like with even more confidence, more ego. The world would be a different place.
100%, man. 100%. I was a ticking time bomb. But I think sometimes that's also a good thing, because people love to see that as well. They love to see people that believe in themselves get crushed.
100%.
And so do I. You know, when I look at Amir Khan, he believed in himself too much, and I love watching him get knocked out. But you know, I think he's quite arrogant. And same with Carl Froch. He had a bit of arrogance in him, but I know I'm a fan of Carl Froch, even though he has the arrogant side to him. But you know, he backs it up, and I think sometimes it does come across that way, because you have to believe in yourself. So you can't let no doubt creep into your mind whatsoever. 100%. And sometimes you can it's easily go down that road. So I see what happens to a lot of fighters. It's I'm not the only person to happen to. It just happens to me on a different level. You know, maybe I'm not on the world stage as a professional fighter and it's happened to, but it can happen to a guy around the corner, and it can happen to a guy on the biggest stage in the world.
Of course it can. So what happened after that then? What was it? Did you continue? Are you still doing boxing?
Yeah. I'm back in love with it again, because it's a bad relationship. I'm in and out with it. And like I was saying, I got out of boxing when I was 25. I had a few fights, and you know, got some. I nearly killed a guy once. I had a fight in the Irish Pub Centre against what's the guy's name? Malcolm Stowe. And he was like, you know, knocking everybody out, and he was going in, you know, grizzly guy, just fucking knocking geezers over, and then jumping over like he's the governor and going over them. And obviously I was going in, emceeing on the way and rapping in on the way.
Was you?
Yeah, it's my entrance music. I'll come in talking about how hench I am.
That is hilarious. Tommy Hench. Now it makes sense.
I'm so hench I make the world shake. Stamp my feet and cause an earthquake. And I used to come in rapping my song and that. People were like, who the fuck's this geezer? What's he doing here?
Multi-talented, that's who I am.
and then I'd go in and you know, knock some people out, and then I goes, I want you to fight him. Now this geezer was like the bad man, do you know what I mean? Out of the venue. So we had a 6-round fight with him, and you know, I'm caning him with the biggest shots I've ever hit anybody with consistently every round, and he was just going and coming forward, and I was thinking, I'm tired of hitting him. Like, I'm hitting him clean with uppercuts, left hooks, everything in the book. And I remember a guy called Simon Akufu, who's a kickboxing world champion, and he was in my corner. And he's going, Tom, please just throw a straight punch. Just throw one straight punch, please. Because I'm just going, like, just please. And he was begging me every round. 6 rounds, he was begging me. And I went, all right. And the 6th round, I went, all right, I'll listen to you now.
My way's not working, I'll try yours.
It wasn't working. So I threw one straight punch. And, that was the best punch I've ever thrown in boxing. And it's the best knockout I've ever seen.
Really?
Out of any knockout I've ever seen. It is the most clinical, like jab, backhand, and he's out from the impact. And he does like a Michael Jackson lean, and he was out for 30 minutes. So they had the oxygen mask on him. His missus is crying over him. The whole place erupted. There was glasses flying everywhere. The massive riot kicked off because he had a massive following. He had about 300 lads in there. Do you know what I mean? And I nearly killed him. And I was going to be up for a manslaughter charge. Everyone was holding me, saying, "Just calm down. He's not fucking breathing. And I'm like, my heart sank, and then I went and had a drink with some people after, and I had somebody really going through the story of me, going, "Why did you do that? But why did you do that?" Yeah. I fell out of love with boxing because I thought I nearly killed someone for what? A bit of showing off hard, 300 quid, whatever for the fight, and I thought this isn't right, and I became a vegan, became very like, it took me from one spectrum to the other. Yeah. But then obviously my mate's son was murdered by knife crime. And then, I'm just drinking, I'm a wreck state. I mean, I'm not really doing nothing with my life. And I saw him the day he died, and I was supposed to go and train him the following that Saturday, because I said to him, I've been through what you've been through. You know, people thinking you're arrogant because you're confident, and you wanted to fight a different style, and they're suppressing you, telling you to fight the traditional boxing way. Because don't worry, man, I can show you a few things and that on Saturday. Seen him the day after. I forgot to give him a number. I saw him at the day on the Tuesday, and I was like, oh, should I give him my number today? And I thought, oh no, I'll see him tomorrow anyway. And then I didn't bother speaking to him and giving him a number, and he died that day, got murdered. And then I was having a mental breakdown, thinking like, why am I so like self-destructive? And I can be some at value. I can't be like, I don't care if I'm not going to be a world champion or like that, but I could still be a little bit of a light and a little bit of guidance for somebody like that. 100%. And I was going to do that, and then I thought, well, knife down, gloves up. I'm going to go and fight and show him a different way, and that's where I started doing. For going back into boxing for that. And then obviously that's when the Ginge from Jardin opportunity arose, when all my friends said, Tom, you've got to call him out because he's asking for a fight. So I said to Ginge, you're nothing to me, blah, blah, blah. And then that blew up. And then, that's how that came about.
No way. So you was the one that had the fight with Ginge from Jardin?
No, I didn't fight him, but he was asking people, how went with Ginge is that he was supposed to fight when he had that situation and all that attention on him for being a horrible person. He then said, I'm gonna turn this negative into positive. Yeah. Started a boxing show. Yeah. And then the kid he was going to fight pulled out, so he says, "I'll fight anyone in Brum." Yeah. But obviously, there's sharks like me swimming around.
Anybody?
So I've gone, "I'll fight you then." You know what I mean? And Podmore, he's like a 150 fight, veteran, fights people just for a bit of money, and he's a hard guy. And he offered the fight as well. So it was me, him, trying to get a fight with Ginge, and then I realised, I thought, well, I weighed Ginge up, and I thought he ain't really, he's not really. I'm a level sort of thing. Yeah. I ain't gonna bother, And then, but Podmore was really persistent and really wanted to fight and beat this Ginge up, and I thought that was a bit of a bully tactic. So I fought him. So I thought, fuck you, Podmore. I'll fight you then.
I'll come in for you.
Exactly. And then Podmore then was like, he was like shocked that I'd called him out because he's like the big hard guy. Do you get what I'm saying? And when I called him out, everyone was thinking, he's going to destroy Tommy Hench. Who's Tommy Hench think he is? But I can fight, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can fight.
I believe you.
So, I try to go in there and knock out somebody that with the wrong strategy. Try to knock somebody out that was just too strong and made a mistake. And, if you get 3 rounds, you've got gloves on. It's a big ass to knock someone out like Podmore anyway, but never mind, 6 minutes and big gloves and... Yeah. You know what I mean? And with the wrong strategy, just swinging for glory. But I tried.
How do you... did that have, any kind of adverse effect on your mental health after going through all of that with the knockout? Because that must have give you a whirlwind of emotions with then, obviously, what happened with your mate's son. Did you feel like you started to deteriorate at all, or are you quite mentally strong?
I'm a bit bipolar. I'm a bit of an extremist, like one to the other. Yeah. So, my slogan's "Get Hench or Get Dead," which means I'm either on a really positive patch or I'm on a really negative one. And it's just... I
can relate.
It just one. Plus, I think even sometimes when I can get sick of being positive. I can get sick of being, you gotta think about the future. You gotta think this, and eating well, and everything's good, and and eventually that gets sickening. And I'm like, I'm like, I just want to do something wrong.
I don't get to that point. I'm just like, when is this going to become cemented in me where I don't have to be negative anymore? I think it is hard. I think what you were saying about when your confidence and people think you're arrogant. When I started doing my positive videos, people thought I was always positive. So that was hard for me because I'm not always positive. I have days when I wake up and I don't want to speak to anybody, but that's the content that you put out. And I think it's so easy for you to be perceived as somebody that you're not really.
Yeah, 100%.
But as a motivational speaker and that kind of thing, you can't go, right, today I'm going to motivate you into how to be a really negative person. No, you just keep that bit for yourself. So it's hard to kind of show.
You've got to keep it up, and you got to make sure that people only see that good side of you, and you don't always feel that way. And I do commend some people that do that. I looked at some of your stuff, and you do seem very positive and very, it's a typical Pisces trait.
Yeah. Oh, what are you?
I'm Leo.
No way.
I'm born under Virgo, but I'm not a Virgo for sure, because Virgos tend to be organised. They tend to be critical, which I think the only relation is. But I was overdue. And I think I made it over the I think there's
threshold.
Yeah, and I think there's I'm still on the cusp, yeah. But I'm nothing like a Virgo. Sorry, my mate calls me a beggo. I'm just begging to be a Leo. Really, I'm not really. You're just
you want to be a lion.
Yeah.
Goes with your image.
You're not a real Leo. You're not a real Leo. But Leo is a generous, gullible, honest, loyal.
You think Tommy Hench is generous and gullible?
Yeah, I am. I really am. You know what I mean? I am very gullible, and I'm very, I definitely share.
Gullible in what sense?
Terribly gullible. I believe in people's lies. I think that everyone's in their best interest because I have, and I think that people are the same standards.
Well. People kind of take advantage of that trait, don't they? I think if we talk in star sign language, then I'm a proper Pisces.
Yeah, I can tell. That's right. It
Really?
screams at you.
What traits do I have to remind
It's
you of
always like
Pisces?
you put yourself in the middle of the I can imagine as a family member, you're like, can't we all just get together and have a good family?
Can't we all love each other? Let's just love each other.
Together and I just know you feel and what's it like? And like even you, it's what you're doing that you bring out people's pain. Like,
Or on the flip side of that, if I'm having a bipolar day, I'm like, everybody leave me alone. I need my own energy fields to recuperate. It's funny.
Yeah, is that you get
I'm one or the other because I'm introverted, so I don't like spending very, very much so. I don't like spending too much time around humans.
No. They're draining. They are.
Yeah, very draining.
They've all got
Energy
different
draining.
problems. They've all got different sorts of views, and you're trying to you've got to keep your own path on, but then at the same time people always bring up the reasons why my feet are hurting, my back's hurting. You're like, well, you can't think about that. You've got to think about this. Then you're trying to fix their positives so much that you end up then neglecting
carrying a heavy load.
And then you end up neglecting yourself also because you're too busy trying to fix everyone else's bucket, and your bucket starts leaking.
Exactly. Tell me about your content, because the reason you came into my frequency is because you reviewed D2's small talk show that we did with D2, and that, so I was like, okay, hello Tommy Hench, thank you for the review. What got you into doing content creation?
I've been doing music, and when I was quite younger, and I used to roll with a lot of friends, and we used to make music. Music 2000, the PlayStation, that was when it first started. And then we used to make beats, and we used to rap and MC way before D-Double or fucking Dizzy Rascal or Crazy Titch. Like, we used to rap, and we used to go down to London, and we used to go to recording studios, and we was like doing that. And then all of a sudden I saw Dizzy Rascal, and I just give up. I saw Dizzy Rascal MC, and I was like mesmerised. I thought, well, I can't do it, no way. Because Dizzy Rascal was like, make your head spit like banana. And I was like, I'm jumping up in that screen like, right, it's the best thing I've ever seen. And like, Captain Roscoe with a crossbow. And like, but what was the question? I forgot.
What got you into content creation?
So yeah, I got music mind through that. Then I started doing music videos, which are like comical now. And look back, I've deleted them. Like, they can't find them now.
Take them out of archive. I'm gonna have a look tonight.
God, man, they're gone. Trust me, they're freaking gone. They are like so embarrassing. I'm like in a tracksuit, like on the Licky Hills car park, like on the mountains and that, talking to them.
How long ago was that?
Oh man, I was probably about 20, around my 20s, and 25, and that maybe that 24. I thought, oh god, it's so
I really
cringe.
want to see them. Is there any on YouTube or anything?
I've gone.
No.
I remember signing in to my account years ago, and I'm thinking, delete this, because I remember my mate's Missy, she come up to me and she saw my video and she goes, I just don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
Is that what you said?
So I was like, I'm deleting this. Like, this ain't good. Like, this is not good, man. I'm getting mugged off.
No.
I'm in a fucking Ralph Lauren tracksuit on the fucking end of the fucking Licky Hill, screaming to Birmingham. I just don't care anymore. Like, it's so funny.
With the deep bars.
Yeah, I was talking about how I was always there and all this. Like, it's just too much emotion, and I'm quite extroverted, but at the same time, I think like this is one of the mental health issues is that people always suppress their emotions and their other side because it's not seen as manly, etc. And I can see why that whole path works because you express yourself, you're a pussy, and then if you ask for help, you're weak. So you don't ask for help. They bottle things up. They become too much. Then you revert back to the usual way you deal with things is by bottling them up, and eventually a lot of pressure builds and something pops.
Your head explodes, and then it's just all of that emotion. Then you start acting from a place of like negative emotion because it's been suppressed for so long, and then you just project it onto everybody.
You don't know how to control it or deal with it. So you end up it's horrible. But I've come out the other side of that recently.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Not just, and so now I'm like back on training. I'm back losing weight. I'm back. I've got some focus and some goals to go for. And Tyson Fury is always a great example of how to get you out of that state. Nothing. If you're not drinking good water and exercising, you're not giving yourself a fighting chance to beat whatever it is you got going on. And you have to be bigger than your excuses. Exactly. We can all make excuses. I mean, I've got like both my knees have been bad. Both my shoulders have had operations on. My face has been cut open, my hands have been cut open, I've had nerves cut open, I've got scars all over my body, I've got aches and pains in the back, I've got both my eyes swell up and double in size, I need eye drops to keep them down.
Is that all from boxing?
This is just like basically everything, really, life, really. Yeah. Sometimes, there's more things that I can't think of.
How did your face get cut open?
Oh, when I was 16, I was walking home to go and see my girlfriend at the time, and I was on my bike, pedal bike, and I rode by some guy. This is another thing why I relate so much to my mate's son who got murdered, because that could have been me easily. I drove past some guy and a girl, and he goes, "Yo, blood, what are you looking at?" And I'm on my bike, and I'm like thinking, what are you on about? What's going on? Because I'm not even conscious about whatever's going on. He can run up to me going, "You looking at my girl, blood? You looking at my girl?" And I've gone, I looked at this girl, I've gone, she looks nice. But I'm just being me, and I'm not really thinking, like, he's thinking, "Yo, what do you mean she looks nice, blood? What do you mean?" He's talking his high-pitched voice, and I goes, I don't mean like, you have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
You've said something, and now you've fucked it because he's taking it that way, and you're trying to explain. I don't mean like she's nice,
not nice, just like she's okay. You did well.
I'm going to my missus now. You go your way. I go, yeah, you did okay. You go your way. I go my way. Yo, blood, don't talk to me like that, blood. You know who I am. Do you know where? I was like, to be honest, no, I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are. So I'm at this age, 16, and I've done a bit of boxing, and I can handle myself. So he's trying to punch me, and I've ducked off the bike. One bike. What the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean? He's going, "Yo, do you think you'll go?" He's going, yo, he's doing all this and that. So he's trying to hit me again, ducked, bang, hit him, broke my thumb off his head, because he was 21. So he's a 21-year-old guy, just come out of jail for armed robbery. Broke my thumb off his head, and I knew I couldn't use his hand anymore, because my hand was throbbing, and he's on the floor, and I'm acting hard. "Get up, man, get up." And I'm thinking, I've got one hand, fucking man's killing me. I'm going, "Get up." And he's going, and then as he's got up and that, I knew I couldn't hit him again, so I just bit on his shoulder, so I grabbed him, biting on his shoulder. Sinking my teeth in his shoulder, and he's going, yo, let me go, and I'm fearing for my life. He's fearing for his life, and at this time he's taking a knife out of his pocket. So I'm biting his shoulder. I go, "Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go?" Like trying to tell him, "You better just leave me when I let go of my set my jaw off. You better go." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go, blood. I'm gonna go." So I took my jaw off, and he's gone like that and just slashed my face open. You know what I mean? But I just reacted and went like that and started hitting him with the right hand, and then started kicking him. And then he's kind of scruffling for something. And I think, what's he going for? What's he looking for? So I thought it was like a slate. At the time, I thought it was like a slate off the floor on someone's garden. But I'm kicking his hand, kicking him in the head. And he backs up. And he goes, "Yo, when I come back, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill all of you." Because I was with two of my friends. And they just stood there and froze, you get me, and watched this happen. And I'm thinking, yo, and he went off and that, and I was just like, I remember going, "Oh, do you remember? Do you see how I done it? Do you see how I done it?" My mate was going, "Man, you got blood all over you, man. You got blood all over you. Check yourself." And I go, "No, I'm sweet. See his blood you get me when I was biting him. See his blood," and I'm gassed in it because I'm thinking I've just beat this man up. Yeah, and I'm bad. You get me? I'm thinking I'm loving myself. And then he's gone, "What's that on your face?" I've gone, "No, nothing. What are you on about?" I looked in the mirror. My fucking face is open. I'm just like, "Whoa!" It's like just like crying, like ran down the road to my mum's house and that. And then I was just literally going mad. I'm going to go and take a car and whatever, and someone phoned the police, and then I'll come outside to go into the car because I took the keys and whatever. But obviously they delay me to stop getting the car and go looking for him. And there was an ambulance outside as I come outside, so I had something, put it in the bush. And then the fucking police and all that grabbed me, and it goes, "Oh, what happened? I goes, "Oh, I've been attacked, blah, blah, blah." Don't know who the guy is, don't know whatever. I mean, they took all my clothes, and they found his blood on my shoes. So he got arrested for it. So then I had an ongoing battle, like a street fight battle with this geezer for about a few years.
Really?
Because he'd assumed that I grassed him up.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, you come out trying to pick on a minor. You come out of jail for what he was. At the time, he was well feared. Now I became glorified. I became like, "Oh my God, you battered him. Do you get me right?" And everyone was like, "Oh, it must be a pussy then if you beat him." Like, but like I could, it's different, isn't it? Like it's like a reputation thing and how that went about. So I became a target, and I ended up fighting a load of people around my area because I'd beaten him up. Everyone was like, "Oh, you think you're hard then?" I'm like, "No, I don't think I'm hard. I was
just defending myself."
Exactly, man. Exactly. So I've had a lot of shit going on growing up. That kind of put me off boxing also because I thought my face is cut open now. If someone hits me, it's going to split open. And, when you're young, you just, I was just in a mad rage. That went on for years. So I did street fights with this kid for years. But anyways, I feel like I could have been dead if he'd have just done that.
A little bit further down. And when that happened to your friend's son, Did that bring all that back for you?
It made me realise how lucky I was.
Yeah.
It made me, it did bring. It does. It's relatable it's kind of. It's in a way. It sounds like because that's happened to him. That could have been me. It's not like it's a real situation that could have. And I don't blame this kid for whatever. This is from walking past somebody and looking at them. So this kid, whatever he got into, it weren't worth taking his life for. It's just not. Whatever he did or whatever the other person did, whoever's to blame, this is a permanent act for a temporary problem.
Yeah.
These problems are temporary at your age. A delicate age of 18 to 16. These are all the things that you think that are problems now, and what people think, and the situation.
Not even relevant a couple of years down the line. Really.
Yeah.
And then people lose their life. People end up on big life sentence charges at the age of being a teenager because literally they've got this big ego at such a young age and they're not aware of the consequences. So you do like a little movement for that, don't you? The Knifesdownglovesup,
yeah. So that's what I represent. And it started because of that. And when I saw Ginge at the fight, he also has friends that have suffered from knife crime, and he's also on the same path. He's also doing his own Knifesdownglovesup thing. So to hear me say it and to hear him say it, we've joined forces, so to speak.
That's really good.
Because he, there's people within his community, and there's people within JK and Bowser and all them lot. They have friends also victims of this D2 as well. So it's a very similar thing that we all have in common. We all like music, we all like fighting, and we all like to do it fair.
100%. That's really good. I like the way that you said that. For anybody who is, for the younger generation who are caught up in this world, do you have a sort of motivational message for them to?
Me,
from
so
your
say if I was going to speak to my younger self or younger people out there.
Yes.
A motivational message. I see a lot of people, right? A lot of MCs, for example, they're all the same. They all have the same views. I'd say that just don't be a productive environment, because I've travelled the world, and I think when I speak to people, it's like they haven't come outside the box that they live in, like Birmingham or whatever area, or barbecue code.
You hungry?
Not your postcode, barbecue code. You're fighting over your barbecue code, your postcode, yeah. I'm not saying these people are. I'm saying these people are inexperienced. You haven't seen the world out there. People complain about police are holding us down, and the government are this, that, and the other. Like I've seen countries, where people, they have no medical care. They have no policing. Everything's corrupt. We have it good in England, We have it really good. And when people see me sticking up for kind of England, they're like, "Oh, you're anti, you're for the government." I'm like, no, I'm just saying to you, like, we are very fortunate. We have a good health system that looks after our people. We take the mick out of our health system. Basically, what I'm saying is just broaden your horizons. Don't make you just try to understand that you are. When you're young, you don't know for all about the world, and there's so much to learn, and people think they know it all, and you really don't know anything. And the less you know, the more you realise that you don't know something, the more actually you do know. Because I'm aware of how much I don't know. A lot of kids think they know it all, and that's the major problem for them.
And knowledge is infinite, so you can never stop learning. And I think you're really right in what you're saying, like, because of, like, especially like the young kids in that kind of environment that are a product of their environment and stuff. They think they know it all because that's all that they know, but they just have to learn a little bit more and just step that little bit further outside of the box that they've been born into, and just decide who you want to be and make sure that it's a good person, so you get good karma back.
You could so much better to so much more. I mean, you look at Stormzy and look at some of the most successful rappers. They're still got sort of like pride or whatever, but the money's in the good music, the money's in the good vibes. People want to put music on and they want to be happy. They want to be, you want to be able to, hug your children and your family and your friends, and you want to be able to feel good around your people. Do you know what I mean? That negative energy, that kind of like that bully mentality, that negativity, it's not something that's sustainable, and it's not something that you actually want an environment in, because when you see real violence, you want to get as far away as you can from it.
Yeah, it's when it becomes real. I think that's another thing as well. Like, you hear people talking about all this stuff and you see it on films and that, but to actually live, to be physically present in a violent situation, you don't know how you're going to react. You don't know what you're going to feel like. You don't know how if you're going to, attack or be attacked. So to avoid it altogether is probably the best outcome.
It's a much better life. I mean, I've been in the back of police cells and been in all that, and then another night I went out and I've been, having a really good night back at the house party with everybody drinking and having the best night, and I'm thinking, oh, this is so much better than eating concrete and with my hands behind my back and someone's kneeling on my head and like at the end of the day, you have to blame yourself, because it's only yourself that can avoid that situation. For example, my mate I bought a couple of drinks at the bar for my friend, turned, and someone knocked the drinks over. I've gone to the bar lady, oh, can you give me 2 more drinks, please? She's going to have to pay for them. And I thought, you just saw what happened. And I thought, do I have to really? She goes, yeah. And I thought, oh, go on and pay for them. And now she's filling them up. I changed my mind. I thought, fuck, I ain't paying for them. So I said, nah, forget it then. You wasted the drink now. I thought I was funny. So then she's told the bouncer, bouncer come over to me, come outside, mate. I thought, oh, fair enough, forget it. Then we'll go somewhere else. I walked out. He's going, no, you've been ordering drinks and not paying for them. So you're going to have to go, mate. I goes, yeah, no worries. I goes, can I just get my mate back in there? Now, to the other bouncer, he thought that I'm trying to talk my way back into the club.
Yeah.
So he's come to the door, pushed me straight away. You're not coming back in, don't try. Because I'm not trying to. Why is he pushing me? Because what are you fucking doing? So he's responding and hit him straight away. Ends up rolling around in the floor outside of him. I get arrested. Now, that's a situation. That's just an example of like a situation where you could be completely innocent. You could be attacked upon, and now you do something. Now you're the one sitting in jail. Now I could have just literally let him push me and said to him, mate, you're completely wrong. You know what I mean? And took another step back and then ended up enjoying the rest of my night. Now you can only blame yourself, even though I'm innocent in that situation, and even though realistically pride should pride kicks in and that's why you respond. Sometimes you've got to oversee it and think to yourself, even if I'm in the right, even if I'm innocent, and this man is violating me, you've got to be able to take a step back and you've got to be able to say, I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I want to enjoy, this is a bigger picture here. You've got to look for. It's hard to do that.
To like stop yourself from acting out of emotion straight away as well, because every action has a reaction, and he did his action, and even I know that because of being a man and pride, you have to respond straight away. And like it's probably like, especially doing boxing and stuff, it's embedded in you to react straight away. But if you didn't, it would have been easier for you, because you wouldn't have had to get arrested. You ended up suffering, even though from that night your drinks got knocked over, you got kicked out, then you got violated by the bouncer, then you ended up in a cell.
Exactly. And then I had to pay the bouncer fines and that. And
no way.
Yeah, paying him money and I have to get the bus every day to go to town and go to my court and all that. Long, man, it's long, and you just get more mad because you're thinking, oh, I don't deserve this. You get me, and then you end up more on yourself, and you got to break that cycle. You got to say, you know what, I've got bigger and better things to do here. And that's another lesson, I guess, if you can learn anything from that.
Are you I can't remember my question then. I was just thinking of something to say. Have you ever been to prison?
No. As you can see, I do get into trouble a lot, but it's never really. I'm not a provocative, or I'm not the sort of person to actually, cause trouble. Yeah. I'm not really like a bad person. Yeah. But good people can get into bad situations.
100%.
Because you stick up for yourself, don't you? Exactly. And you defend yourself, and sometimes people only see your reaction, and then you're getting prosecuted for your reaction.
Exactly. So, what's the biggest lesson that you've learnt so far?
In life?
Yeah.
Biggest lesson? Biggest lesson? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Can you elaborate?
Yeah. So, of everything that you've been through in your life, what was the situation that made you learn the most, like to change you as a person, to become more?
Blaming yourself, taking responsibility. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we can all point out the external situation around us, but I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to you as an individual. What are you going to do to be great? I mean, a lot of people always say, I've had a hard upbringing, or I had this happen to me, or this is my situation. It's not easy for me. It's easy for that person. It may be easy for that person, but what's easy for someone else, it has no relevance on where you're going to go. So it all comes down to even accepting that you may have a disadvantage to strive and to do whatever it takes. If you have to work twice as hard as someone, to work twice as hard.
Yeah. I love that. Tommy, thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
No, much appreciated having us here.
No, honestly, I thank you for doing the review. That's how you came, obviously, into my site anyway. I always say this to everybody that's come on, but I would love to have like a catch up in the next 6 months or something to see what's going on and how your stuff's developed as well with the Knives Down, Gloves Up and the content and everything and the boxing.
Yeah, 100%.
Now you've got a new fan.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be looking out for you.
Really good. Yeah,
I'll be in your corner, rapping behind you. I'm like, Tommy Hench! But no, thank you
very much. Thank you for having us.
And I'll see you soon.
Thank you.